One of the videos a lot of people have requested several times in the last couple years is an actual tour of the shop, and along with the equipment in it, but the equipment in it changes, and it's been in most of the videos, so you pretty much know what I have. Maybe one day I'll get them all out and we'll kind of just line them up instead of them being covered with everything. But anyway, the shop itself is a 30 by 70. It is an old barn, so it's been updated. It is a fairly old building, relatively speaking. I would say it was probably built in the 50s or 60s. That is just a guess on my part. I think the house is 1965. So the shop, or this now shop, would be somewhere probably in that general range as well. The front half, it's basically divided in half. The front, actually the whole, it has the ability to heat and cool the whole thing. It's kind of pointless to try to cool the back because there's no insulation there. But basically I've got it laid out to where the front part, I've still got, I mean, it's obviously a mess. There's lots of stuff on the floor, but the front part is basically kind of my work area. Although recently the back part has been my work area because it has better lights back there. So we'll just kind of take you on a tour. Machines are lined up there on the far wall, at least the garden tractors are. Projects are normally parked here in the center. The Gator, the Cushman at the moment. Also my truck will park there in the winter. That's one of the things, if you've watched my videos quite a bit in the last about month, I'm somewhat trying to get all of this junk out of here. The Gator actually has a new home that I'll talk about in a future video that's coming. And then the Cushman, I'm trying to find a new home for, or something to do with it. Just not sure what yet. Over there on the far side, that's where the air compressor will eventually go that I'm working on rebuilding. The set of shelves over there will eventually go away, and that whole wall over there will eventually be pallet racking, 8-foot tall pallet racking that I can put attachments and stuff like that on top of, above the garden tractors, just to kind of save some space. As you look back towards the door, there's a garage door. It is non-powered. You've got the entry door right there. The main workbench, it's always got a bunch of stuff on it for no apparent reason, because it's not like I do anything on the main workbench. That bench right there with the diesel can and everything else. Actually, that bench is going to be moving here in the next couple weeks. And if you followed the Ingersoll Rand T30 compressor rebuild, you know that I stopped because I needed a shop press. And that is where the shop press is going to go. It needs a relatively large footprint. Probably going to go with a 50-ton unit, and that's going to go right there because I've had numerous reasons for a shop press over the years, and so we're going to kind of go from there. So to keep my toolbox here in the middle, I could stand another toolbox. You got a bunch of junk back there, boxes and whatnot, and then you got some cabinets here. This is where I keep all of my oil supplies, things, whatnots, you know, just filters. I mean, if you look in here, I mean, hydraulic fittings, filters. I do keep some paint on the bottom, things like that, shop towels, whatnot. Same thing with the other cabinets here. The plastic bins in the back are just for random parts for various machines. There is an upstairs, it's a loft. Not much is really up there other than just a bunch of boxes and random parts. You can't put too much weight up there just because the floor joist is only a 2x6 on this main beam right here, so I don't want to put too much up there. So anyway, coming back here, one of the biggest flaws of this building is the fact that it's only served by a 70 amp service, something like that. We'll go up to the panel here in a minute. There's a single door here in the back. It stays open in the summer, closed in the winter. The back is also, I think the back's a little bit shorter. I think it's divided in half. But anyway, in the back, I mean, this is where I've spent most of my time in the last year or so installing the pallet racking. This is where the 820 sits. The 820 is just a gigantic space hog that I have no time for at the moment. So it just sits there. It's been sitting there for well over a year now. I do occasionally turn it over just to make sure it doesn't get stuck or anything. But other than that, it's just going to sit there for a while. Tossed around the idea of getting rid of it. Really don't want to do that. So diesel fuel barrel right there. There's another T30 that I'm going to work on rebuilding once I get the other one done. I've got stuff stored up there. That little closet right there is where the furnace is at for the front part of the shop. And then you have the pallet racking, and this is where pallet racking is just incredibly useful for storing stuff because obviously you can go up. One of the considerations, probably one of the hardest things that I've had to do is you figure out the math to where you can get the most stuff up on the pallet racking without either A, hitting the ceiling, the lift height of the loader, and lift height and the height of all of the stuff up there that is on pallets. If you look back, the video I posted a while back where I was putting up this pallet racking, that one pallet right there in the middle, with the plow on it, ran into some technical difficulties there. And, you know, it just, doing pallet racking seems like it's just incredibly simple. But by the time you stack stuff on it, it can actually get pretty complicated in terms of making sure stuff fits. I do have up here, there's another door there. It's sealed off. I've got it pretty much just locked up. I'm sure you could probably just put a piece of plywood over it and nobody would ever know. I keep my decks up there on the top, various projects, things like that. Here in the back, I have a early Model 80 cart that I don't use in the yard. And then in the very back there, you can kind of see the handles. Some stuff that I got from my grandfather. Don't intend to use it. Same thing down there on the bottom. We'll walk back there. And there's a Planet Junior two-wheeled tractor, a couple other things, a planter, whatnot. Not the best lighting, but you know, things like that. I do keep those just, you know, for sentimental reasons. Planet Junior does run, or it was running when I parked it. It's got a replacement engine on it, and so also at the same time I have this Foley 387 saw filer. I got this from my grandfather as well. Hope to eventually one day put it up and, you know, try to file with it. Have the manual and everything. I've got all the jigs for it and whatnot. I remember as a little kid watching it work. In fact, it's still got the saw blade in it. I think that saw blade has been in there probably 20 plus years from the last time I saw it work. So it does work, just gotta hook it up. And then, you know, have all of the other attachments that I normally use. So that's just a brief tour of the shop. Like I said, a lot of people had asked for it. You know, and I'll try to, if you got questions, ask them. I would like to build a newer shop in the future. It's a little bit better designed than this one. This one, because it has the two garage doors in the back, there's definitely some limited capabilities for storage. I like the two garage doors, but in terms of space and everything, it makes a little bit of a challenge, particularly, or really the only benefit is the 820 fits in there. So anyway, hopefully you found this entertaining and you got to see a full view of the shop. So I don't think I've ever done that. Walk through it. I mean, obviously I take video of most of the shop in a lot of places, but I've never just done a complete walkthrough video. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Other than that, thanks for watching.